first impressions are less stable than we think.
Mm.
So, this is another important, and this is especially relevant for people who are online dating too. I think there's a temptation to think, okay, I went on a 20-minute coffee date with this person. It didn't go all the, it was okay. On to the next. Like, I wasn't blown away. And this is a bummer to me because what you're essentially doing is you're just lopping off a whole giant part of the distribution of possible relationships that could have gone somewhere if you'd given it more chances. So we have some research where what we do is we look at the full arc of these real relationships, some serious, some less serious, but they've all lived and died. And if we rewind time to the beginning, the average relationship, when people met, people felt within that group, yeah, there are some people who was like, oh my God, I knew from moment one. I don't know, that's like 20%. It's a minority, but it's not zero. There's another minority that thought, I did not like you at all the first time we met. And then you grew on me gradually over time. So I think that there is real wisdom to spending more time with people. Again, falling for somebody it's an uncommon event. We call it a low base rate event. It doesn't happen all that often. This is part of the challenge too. It really helps to be meeting more rather than fewer people. The apps are at least kind of decent at facilitating that component, but it makes it even harder when we're ruling people out after an initial impression, because historically, lots of middling initial impressions go on to be something.
Yeah, we will have to get to the apps and technology at some point, but I think there's so much practical stuff still to unpack about all of this.
Yeah.
One thing that's coming to mind too, I know you do a movies podcast. Have you ever done Shallow Hal?
No, I don't think I've seen that since it came out.
Yeah, with Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
What it's making me think of, what you're talking to you is making me think of that movie where, the premise is that Jack Black meets this woman and he's got this sort of spell cast on him. So he sees her like who she is on the inside. And her inner beauty is amazing, and she looks like Gwyneth Paltrow. And all his friends kind of think that he's confused and messed up, but he's thrilled. And I wonder what you think about that as sort of a metaphor for what you're talking about, and if maybe that movie was more accurate than we make it out to be.
That it's so funny. So that message, it's very close in the sense that people differ in how they view each other, and that it would be very common that like my friends would look at somebody I was interested in and be like, what, seriously now? And then I'd be like, no, she's amazing. It isn't exactly, I mean, I'm not going to get upset about the inner beauty message, but it's not exactly a difference between like outwardly facing characteristics and inner characteristics that you have to take your time to get to know. It really is about genuine disagreement about whether the person has some qualities or not. And one of the reasons this happens is because often, like when we, if we're especially into somebody, if we find them exceptionally attractive, we're going to start to see that they have all those wonderful inner qualities too. We're going to think that they're funny, and we're going to think that they're supportive and responsive and warm. So it is kind of like everything moves with it. But at least in terms of the message that like, spending time getting to know somebody will give you a chance to see that person in a different light, and leaning into that idiosyncrasy is a very good idea.
To go even deeper on these ideas, you can watch my full episode using the link in the description or the box on the screen.